Um, I wanted to show you guys my face. I was out yesterday. I didn't have a good day. Um, I think what I'm realizing is that my body can't do what it used to do. And I want you to go on that journey with me even more. When I'm outside and I record in the buses, it sounds like a loud noise, and you can't really hear things clearly. But I'm going to take you guys again outside so you can hear what they're saying. They're still saying I'm a pedophile. Now, they started that part of this talking in 2020. So we're talking about 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. I've been to various courts and talked about this. They don't come forward. And that's what started this whole idea of coming forward. They still haven't come forward. Someone explained this to me, but I can't grasp it. I just don't understand that this is part of the voices. They accuse you of things to get you upset. That isn't, to me, making any sense. So somebody, if you guys, other people have done this already, so I'm asking you to do the same thing other people do. Please explain this to me. Explain how it's legal to make false accusations against people publicly, but don't come forward. And then when you tell the courts and you talk about this, everyone acts like it doesn't exist if it's out loud and it's public. That is not the same as saying, oh, you did this, you did that. Also, surveilling me privately is not the same. This is completely different. So they said, well, you're the person who said it in your video. I said that I'm not a pedophile. And they've accused me of that. And I said in a video from 2022, why would you want me to bring in children into this apartment, which I refuse to do, if I'm a pedophile? So they said, that means you're admitting you're a pedophile. I'm not a crazy person. I'm not going to argue with crazy people who I know are mentally ill. When I'm calling someone crazy, I'm not talking in a way that's like, oh, crazy. No, mentally ill people. Why did they even involve mentally ill people in this? They tried to say that in the 1980s. I started St. Helena's when I was 7. So what is that? Early 1980s. I used to get help because I couldn't go home. Yes, I could. And I had my family. This is what these people are lying about on me. All of them. All of them. I have family. And I had family back then. So why would I need someone to take care of me other than my family? If anybody in the world, I'm going to tell you this, especially for young moms out there. If people are suddenly trying to get close to you and your child, I'm going to link a video of a predator who talked about why they do this. Only a predator would do that. If there's a problem with anyone else's children, you're not responsible. Their family's responsible. And if you feel there's a problem, call somebody to get that child help. Don't do it yourself. So now, decades later, I'm 51 years old. They're going to claim that I needed them and not my family. So what about all the time you let your child go with my mother? Let's talk about that. All right? All the time that you trusted your children with my mother, that wasn't a problem. But decades later, you're going to turn it around and say that my mother wasn't competent. I wasn't a child molester. All the time that you trusted your children to stay with me. Yes, let's talk about this. This is why it has to come out in court. Because if I'm a sane person and it drives me crazy, imagine what it did to all the mentally ill people who you guys keep pointing the finger at as being mentally ill. This is why this issue has to be addressed. For everyone who was labeled mentally ill, when you folks knew this was real, it was happening to that person, and you pretended it wasn't, that's why they reacted the way they did. Because they find out what is it that's going to bug you and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it out loud in public. I'm going to sit down and we'll talk a little bit more. Again, I just want to remind you guys about the different crafts, and I'm going to I mix my crafts with other crafters because I think you just sit there and you can get ideas. I go through couponing videos like they're like little television shows, craft videos like they're little television shows. I can sit and watch cooking shows like that. So if I'm going to link in this description the what's on sale videos. They have so many great couponers. I couldn't even grasp how they can come up with it, but they're able to take a sale item with a store coupon and rebates and come up with great deals. So please, if you guys are looking for sales and discounts, take a look at those videos. And those people are pretty amazing to be able to save money like that. Um, I I think that's great. So the other point about what I was saying is that as I'm talking, and I tend to say the same thing. I mean, once you're 50 something, you a lot of things in life are the same. I mean, if I always say such and such, I'm going to always say it. So the people doing this are like, you always say that, you're so corny, you say the same thing all over and over again. She's going to say this. So what? So what? That doesn't offend me. You know, they say, oh, she likes all of this attention. You know, I don't like it. But once they started to do this, what choice did I have? I've been trying to fight them. I don't like the pedophile accusation. I don't like the lie that I was a bad kid. You wouldn't have wanted me around. I don't like the idea that I made people uncomfortable in any way. I don't. And you guys have already seen that. I feel like they just want me to sit up here and say, you know, this person, that person knows that. I'm not going to. They keep talking about they wanted me to interact with more of my people so they can clone them. I'm not letting you clone my people. So they said, oh, now you admit you have people. Doesn't everybody? That's what I'm trying to say. Even in the video where I said, if you think you're alone and nobody ever cared about you, you're not. You're not. I think this was supposed to get people to a point where they think that. That's why I said, I don't grasp this system at all. For some reason, this system makes no sense to me. If you do something out loud to me, and that means you have the ability, they just said it, you have the ability to do it to me. Am I the only person you would do it to? No. You've done it to other people. And now we have the internet, which is always a bad thing, but we're going to turn it into a good thing so that people can start to say, wait a minute, tell me the person's name. How are you connected? Are you from the Bronx? Are you around 50 something years old? That's a connection. Oh, okay, you're not from the Bronx, but you're from Brooklyn. That's a connection. Oh, you're 50, say 5. I'm 51. That's a connection. These people talked about people they've done this to over the years. That's a connection. When this really got bad, probably not 2020, I think it could have been in about, it wasn't 2019 because that was bad, but this got worse. So say by about 2021, before I sent a tweet out to everyone, including the CIA, that I have nothing to hide. That's when it got really bad because here's my thought. They just said, oh, yeah. Once you have nothing to hide, they said that I was always being followed this way by a different group of people, like surveilled. Plus, I'm here and people who I grew up with are here. I have nothing to hide, so you can't blackmail me. So that's when it really got bad because now since you can't blackmail me, you can get me upset. But this type of stuff doesn't get me upset. Calling me a pedophile does. So they try to explain to each other why I'm not a kid person. You guys can tell. Come on, let's be logical. I'm not. But I am a person who realizes that we have to save money on things. That's another thing. They knew I was a saver and they wanted to change me from a saver to a spender. I'm a saver. But we can also make money by coming up with, you know, certain products and things, and that's what they said they were always stealing from me. So now you add that into this. How do they get paid? They get paid by taking my ideas. So outside in the street you're saying one thing, but behind closed doors you say something else. So then they're like, well, that's racist. No, it isn't. It's when you're two-faced. So they said years ago I said something about a two-faced person. They're like, there's no such thing as two-faced. But when I was growing up, there was left-handed, there was right-handed, and that doesn't mean, like they said, left-handed means like the other meaning for like left-handed, but like we say left-handed, and it just means someone who uses their left hand, like a pitcher. Like I think that was in reference to what I was talking about. And they said that extra ed, is not really an extra ed, but they said that was grammatically wrong. So it would be like a mixture of craziness. Whereas if you notice with me, I don't like to add a lot of crazy. I keep a topic. And that's the difference. The difference is if I'm outside and 1 minute it's my grandma, next minute I'm corny, next minute I'm a pedophile, next minute, look at that person. We magnetize your eyes so we can tell where you're looking. No, you have someone standing nearby me trying to guess where I'm looking. Next minute you're reading out loud. I would look crazy if that was in my head. That's all over the place. It's that's what I'm saying. This is being run by people who have mental illness. They try to say no, they're not mentally ill, they're criminals. I think they're criminally mentally ill because this is not a program. This is a bunch of craziness. It's a system of railroading people who are normally up here, which I'm not, into getting upset. So if you're like me, and I tend to be calm, I tend to, document things a lot. They were upset because I had a list in my journal. At the time, it was a journal. I ripped out the pages of like the celebrities I met when I was working at Saks, because my mother loves to hear these stories. And they're like, oh, that means something. No, it doesn't. I document everything. As you guys have already seen, I had journals from when, like, 1990. So I've always done that. I've always been a writer. So when you're writing and they just said outline, when you're writing, you can't jump from one thing to another. This program that they've created is jumping from one thing to another. First it's the grammar, then you're corny. Then you're going to look at this. Oh, you looked at a kid. Oh, you're a pedophile. You shouldn't look at the kid. They said they use pedophiles in this program, which is why they don't want me around children. I don't want to be around kids. That's a whole other subject. So why can't you foster kids? We were going to move a family in with you that have children. Why are we moving people into other people's homes? That's illegal. They said, oh, then you're not serving God. Listen, my God doesn't want me to serve that way. So let's talk about that. That's another part of this topic that they brought up, that in an email I sent to Father McShane, I said I was applying for the Robert Wagner School of Social Work. And I said something about I would serve God and do this. I didn't get accepted into that program, but they said, well, you said you were going to serve God. You don't serve God by the way they want you to serve God. You serve God by the way he wants you to serve. They don't speak for God. Goes back to the voice of God technology that they tried to use. So we went from synthetic telepathy, where they're trying to think like me and use thoughts of a dog in my head, to why am I not serving God by putting children in my apartment? I'm not bringing any children into this environment. To 3, I'm a pedophile because they said I did something nasty to children or made them feel uncomfortable. The same people who have over the years wanted me around children. Then they said, well, maybe that's the reason they're doing it. No, maybe the reason they're doing it is because when they can take me to court so we can talk about this out in the open. Let's bring me to court. Take me to court. You feel that I give you weird vibes, yet you spend 24/7 surveilling me? That's insanity. So the other big deal about this is that they talked about my former classmates over the years, and they said,